Hey, welcome to the channel Collector's Life for Me. Today we're going to be breaking down my mono red commander deck. I like to have at least one mono-colored deck in each of the Magic the Gathering colors. And in this case, Purphoros, God of the Forge, is that guy for red. So Purphoros, God of the Forge, 1 red, 3 colorless. He's a legendary enchantment creature god, 6/5, indestructible. As long as your devotion to red is less than 5, Purphoros isn't a creature. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Purphoros deals 2 damage to each opponent. Pay 1 red, 2 colorless. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. With Purphoros, it's all about getting creature enter the battle triggers to do damage to all of your opponents. In this case, it's going to be goblins and token generation, as well as a couple infinite combos that can take your opponents out in 1 turn. This is Purphoros in the Constellation Secret Lair treatment. We'll start with the most important part of any deck, is the lands. So in this case, monocolored, has a lot of basic mountains, which I have 2 treatments here. The utility lands, Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle. So this is awesome. When you get mountains out, you can deal 3 damage to any target. Sokenzan, Crucible of Defiance. This is the alternate version in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Den of the Bugbear in the Dungeons & Dragons modal treatment. Dwarven Mine, another mountain-based land that generates a 1/1 dwarf creature token. Castle Embereth. Forgotten Cave. So one thing red doesn't have a lot of is card draw. So having a few extra cycling abilities helps. Witch's Clinic, in case you need to give Purphoros lifelink. Another thing red doesn't have is much life gain. Terramorphic Expanse, way better than Evolving Wilds. War Room. So this allows you to pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity, which is 1, to draw a card. And Keep. You can generate a red kobold with this. On to the artifacts. There's not many in this deck. So you have a Soul Ring. You have an Arcane Signet, which feels weird in a monocolored deck, but hey, why not? It's an artifact. Swiftfoot Boots. Mind Stone for a little bit of card draw. Skull Clamp. So this is great card draw, especially when you're producing small creatures like goblins. Cursed Mirror. Hazaret's Monument. Panharmonicon. This gives you double triggers on the ETB effect with Purphoros. So here's our instants and sorceries interaction. Red is known for artifact destruction, so Shattering Spree. Here's a Lightning Bolt in the Magic Fest foil treatment. Faithless Looting for card draw. Cathartic Reunion for card draw. Thrill of Possibility, more card draw. Desperate Ritual. Pyretic Ritual. Dragon Fodder. Jessica's Will, probably one of the most overpowered cards printed in the last few years. Deflecting Swat fits that category as well. So this is the Japanese. It's pretty much a red free counterspell if you have your commander out. You're allowed to redirect a spell if it has a target. Chaos Warp. Light Up the Stage. Seething Song. Valakut Awakening. It can also be used as a land if you need it to. Fiery Confluence. And Blasphemous Act. So here are the enchantments and planeswalkers. So Braid of Fire. This is kind of a silly card. Cumulative upkeep is typically a negative thing, but in this case, all you're doing is producing extra mana each turn during your upkeep. It's great for, like, with cards like Purphoros. If you have some ability that you can use this mana on during your upkeep, then why not? Impact Tremor. The same as Purphoros' ability, only in enchantment form, and it only deals 1 damage. And this is the Saturday D&D Secret Lair treatment. Goblin Bombardment. You can sacrifice goblins to ping your opponent or any other targets. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. So this is like the new enchantment-based Kiki-Jiki. Kiki-Jiki is considered a combo king. It transforms into the reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Blood Sun. It's a little bit of red control. Blood Moon, very similar. Can be a salty card. This isn't like Urborg or Yavimaya. This actually turns the lands into mountains. It doesn't give them the mountain ability in addition. Fiery Emancipation. So costs a lot to get out, but when it does, you're doing triple damage on your ETB triggers with Purphoros. Tibalt. So opponents can't gain life, which can ruin a red deck. And then also it generates 1/1 red devil creature tokens. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. This also generates creature tokens. And Chandra, Torch of Defiance. This is from Chandra's spellbook. Love this fiery treatment at the bottom. Now on to the beef. Here's the creatures. So lots of low cost creature spells in this. So this is Reinforced Ronin. This is great because you can, at the end of each turn, this card returns to your hand. So with Purphoros, it's almost like a guaranteed trigger each turn. Flamekin Harbinger. Skirk Prospector. Uses goblins to generate mana. Norn the Wary. So this is one of the combo pieces. Cost 1, 2/1. When a player plays a spell or a creature attacks, remove Norn from the game. Return it to play under its owner's control. So you're getting a free ETB off of a spell cat, Goblin Engineer. So this allows you to search your library for an artifact card. Goblin Instigator creates 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Runaway Steam-Kin. So this is also part of an infinite combo. Whenever you cast a red spell, you're putting counters on this, and when it gets to 3 counters, you can remove them to generate 3 red mana. So there's ways to continually do that over and over. Goblin Recruiter. Goblin Recruiter comes into play. You can search your library for any number of goblin cards, reveal those cards to all players, shuffle your library, then put the cards on top in any order. So this works with Conspicuous Snoop, which is also in this deck, which is also can be a combo with Kiki-Jiki. Mogwar Marshal. So this produces 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Young Pyromancer creates 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. Conspicuous Snoop. So this is a card that if it's in play and you have a goblin on top of your library, Conspicuous Snoop has all the activated abilities of that card. So you could like manipulate your deck to put Kiki-Jiki on top, and if this isn't there, pretty much you have a Kiki-Jiki. Legion Warboss generates red goblin creature tokens. Pashalik Mons. Goblin Matron, it's a goblin tutor. Birgi, God of Storytelling. So whenever you cast a spell, add 1 red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases in. So Birgi is also a part of a combo. So this is Kranko. He produces goblins. Magus of the Moon, non-basic lands or mountains. So just like Blood Moon, but in creature form. So Grinning Ignus, this is a big combo piece. Pay 1 red, return Grinning Ignus to its owner's hand, add 2 colorless and 1 red. Activate this ability only time you could cast a sorcery. So with like Runaway Steam-Kin and Norn, this is a card that if you can get that one extra red mana, you can pretty much keep bouncing this to your hand and recasting it, because with its ability to add the same amount of mana as its casting costs. So when you're able to do that, then now you have infinite enter the battle triggers with Grinning Ignus. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord, he's just a goblin banner. Goblin Chieftain, same thing. Goblin King, same thing, only he also gives your goblins Mountain Walk. Goblin War Chief helps reduce the 1 colorless casting costs on your goblins. Onyx, Hardened in the Forge, does produce 1/1 red satyr creature tokens, but it's also in there for flavor because it is also a constellation demigod. Goblin Ringleader. So this allows you to look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can put any goblins revealed that way. If you're able to use this with Goblin Recruiter, you can manipulate your top deck and then put those goblins into your hand. Goblin Trashmaster, you can use your goblins to remove artifacts. Also a goblin banner. Mogcatcher, the activated ability is a goblin tutor. Kranko Mob Boss, this also creates large amounts of goblins. Torbrand, Thingam of Redfeld. So this is the Throne of Eldraine for foil. This actually used to be my mono red commander, but I decided to go a different direction. Zealous Conscripts. So this can also be an infinite combo with Kiki-Jiki. Pretty much you can keep gaining control of your Kiki-Jiki and untapping it with this ability, which allows you to keep using your Kiki-Jiki. Siege Gang Commander produces goblins. Can also be used to ping creatures or player by sacrificing goblins. And Kiki-Jiki, the Mirror Breaker. This is the big guy. 3 red, 2 colorless, legendary creature goblin shaman. 2/2 with haste. Tap. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. With cards like Zealous Conscript, you can keep copying that card, and each time you do, you get an enter the battle trigger on your Purphoros, and then once the new Zealous Conscript enters the battlefield, you can untap Kiki-Jiki and just keep doing it over and over again. Game over. And Chandra's Incinerator in the spellbook treatment. So big fan of this card. Just a fun little creature-based enter the battle trigger deck. We've got the Ultra Pro Chandra deck box here. We've got the Fiery Judith with her Rakdos Carnarium in the background, playmat from Ultra Pro. And then we've got the Ultra Pro Life Counter. I don't have one specifically for this deck, and I really wish Ultra Pro and Wizards of the Coast would partner to put one of these like types of life counters in every commander precon. I don't think it would be too much to ask for, but these are great. And then we've got our tokens. So here's my Kivu-Majig from Cartamajig. We've got the Goblin Shaman that goes with Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Got some goblins, some devils. I love this devil art. Dwarf, some satyrs, some treasure, and some spirits. I usually like to have 2 of each token in my token supply. That way you know which ones have summoning sickness and which ones don't. So I hope you enjoyed this EDH deck breakdown of mine. Check out my other decks. And beyond that, enjoy your day.